Okay, just before that, so Kachin from group 4 is here. Anyone else from group 4, can you just raise your hand for the purpose of attendance? Group 4 people, can you raise your hand apart from Kachin? No more, yeah? Okay. Brian, could you check for your class? Anyone's absent?
No, sir. Everyone is
Everyone
present.
here. Okay, right. Thank you. Okay, good. Just let me click the attendance then. Okay, right. Let's quickly go through this tutorial and then we will all be free. Okay, I'm on leave starting tomorrow. Okay, I'll be traveling back to my hometown as well. Okay, now let's take a look at our multiple choice questions. Okay, now question 1. What is the law of demand? Okay, Kachin says A. Okay. All right, okay. So, yeah, I think a few people said A. Okay, thank you. Yes, the correct answer is A. All right. Price and quantity demanded are inversely related. Okay, so it's just as I said in the lecture just now, it's useful to have the definitions of inverse and direct stuck in your head. Okay, demand is inverse. Okay, supply is direct. Okay, so B is not correct. Yeah. Okay, this is something else. Okay, C is talking about supply, which we just covered. Okay, D is also D doesn't make sense. Okay, it says that consumers buy more at a higher price than at a lower price. It's like the consumer must be crazy or very rich. Okay, so the correct answer is A. Okay, now question 2. Here, be very careful. Yeah, when we say a drop in quantity demanded, what does that mean? Okay, very good. All right. Now, I would be worried if anyone had picked A, okay? Because A is a drop in demand, not quantity demanded. So when there is a drop in quantity demanded, you need to remember, oh, actually, I need to record. Okay. Give me a minute, yeah? Just let me do the recording. Okay, right. Sorry, where were we? Okay, we were talking about the drop in quantity demanded. Okay, if you have a drop in quantity demanded, you must remember that only price affects quantity demanded. Okay, only a change in price can cause a change in quantity demanded, and so there is only C and maybe D. Okay, maybe D, because D is talking about prices as well. So let's take a look at D and find out what's the problem. D is talking about the price can be expected to rise. Now, if the price is expected to rise, that affects demand, not quantity demanded, because that is expectation. So this is definitely C. Okay, price has gone up, therefore consumers buy less, quantity demanded goes down. All right. Now, what about question 3? A decrease in demand. Okay, very good. Thank you. So when you have a decrease in demand, Okay, decrease definitely is always shift to the left. Okay, same for demand and supply. If you have a decrease, it shifts to the left, whereas an increase would be a shift to the right. Okay, so for question 3, the answer is A. All right. Any questions so far? Okay, thanks, Kachin. Okay, so I think let's move on. Okay, question 4. When you sum up all the individual demand curves horizontally, what do you get? Any other answers? Okay, so the correct answer is C, market demand. Okay, when you add up all your individual demand, you end up demand curves, you end up with the market demand curve. Okay, you just have to know this fact. Okay, you just have to know that if you add them up horizontally, you get the market demand curve. Okay, you don't have to worry about how to do it. Okay, you don't have to worry about how to do it. Okay, now question 5. Which of the following pairs of goods would most likely be complements? Okay, thanks guys. So yes, C is the correct answer, yeah? Because if you have mechanical pencils without lead, you cannot use it. Or if you have lead without mechanical pencils, you also cannot use it unless somehow you're a genius or something. Okay? Now, what about butter and margarine? What do we call them? Okay, substitutes. Okay, because if you have butter, you do not need margarine. Or if you have margarine, you do not need butter. Okay, although I really don't like margarine, I much prefer butter. Okay, anyway, if you have one, you don't need the other, then we call them substitutes. If to use one, you must have the other, then they are complements. Okay, so yeah, the correct answer is C. Okay, let's look at question 6. If good A is a normal good, what will happen when there is a decrease in income? Okay, yes, that is A, yeah? A is the correct answer. Now think about this, yeah? If you have a normal good, a decrease in income, okay, will it increase or decrease demand? Okay, if you have a normal good, demand decreases, okay, thank you, Brian, when income decreases. Thanks, Jinlan, as well. All right, so when demand decreases, demand curve shifts to the left, okay, or leftward. All right, so A is the correct answer. Okay, now let's look at our essay questions. Sorry, before that, any questions for the MCQ? Any answers you want to double check? Okay, right. Let's look at the essay questions first. Okay, so 1A, distinguish between a change in demand and a change in quantity demanded. Now here, they didn't say using diagrams. So no need to give diagrams. Okay, class, if you notice here, let's take a look at question 3. It's the exact same question, but it adds using appropriate diagrams. So 3, you need diagrams. 1, you don't need diagrams. Okay, and to prove that, look at the marks. For question 3, it's 8 marks. For question 1A, it's 6. Okay, that means they have added marks for question 3. All right. Now let's take a look at the lecture slides then. Okay, so differentiate between a change in quantity demanded and a change in demand. Okay. Just give me a minute here. Okay, so the first thing you need to tell me, okay, let's start with change in quantity demanded. The first thing you need to tell me is how do I see it on the demand curve, okay? Remember that when you have a change in demand, okay, I'm not sure which way is right for you. Anyway, okay, if this is a demand curve, okay, a change in quantity demanded is you moving up or down the demand curve, okay? Up, down, okay? Still same demand curve, all right? So the first mark, I would guess. Yeah, okay, I'm not sure how they split the marks here, okay? Anyway, you must tell me this thing, okay? It is a movement from one point to another on the same demand curve. Okay, that's the first thing. You tell me how do you see it on the demand curve. The next thing is you tell me what causes a change in quantity demanded, okay? By a change in the price of the good itself, or you can say own price, all right? Together, that will give you 3 marks, okay? Now, for change in demand, you need to tell me it is seen by a shift in the demand curve, okay? Now, but when you say shift, you need to tell me where it can shift, okay? Is it, shift right, shift left, up, down, or whatever, okay? So you need to tell me that the change in demand is seen by a rightward shift or a leftward shift in the demand curve, all right? That is how you see it on the diagram, okay? Have your demand curve, okay? It shifts right, shifts left, okay? I'm not sure what's your left and right because I know Google Meet swaps them around, but you get the idea, okay? So you have to tell me the direction of the shift as well. And then what causes a shift in a change in demand, okay? This part. Okay, you just have to list down all the points here, and that will give you 3 marks in total as well, okay? No diagram required for 1A. Okay, does that make sense? Any questions? Okay, right, good. Okay, now let's move on to, okay, where's my tutorial question? Okay, let's move on to question 2. Distinguish between normal and inferior goods. Give an example for each of these 2 types of goods. Okay, now this one is 10 marks, yeah, because it actually involves quite a bit. Okay, now let us go to our lecture slides. Okay, question 1B, okay, normal and inferior goods. Okay, now you need to tell me, okay, so let's talk about normal goods first. For normal goods, you need to tell me that it is a good for which demand rises as income rises, or demand falls as income falls. Now, notice that I have addressed both increase in income and decrease in income. Okay, why is it important that you talk about both? Because it's possible, okay, it's possible, yeah, when, okay, demand goes up when income goes up, but demand doesn't change when income falls. That's why you have to be specific and talk about both increase in income and decrease in income, okay? Now that will give you 2 marks, okay? 1 for each side, yeah, okay? 1 mark for increase in income, 1 mark for decrease in income, okay? Now, class, if the demand goes up as income goes up, what do we call the relationship between demand and income? Direct or inverse? Direct, okay? So you also have to mention that, okay? So after talking about, what happens when income goes up, what happens when income goes down, you need to tell me there is a direct relationship between income and demand, all right? So that gives you 3 marks in total. And then you talk about the inferior good, okay? We describe the inferior good. Again, 1 mark if you tell me what happens when income rises, demand goes down. 1 mark for telling me what happens when income falls, demand goes up. So in this case, we have an inverse relationship between income and demand, okay? So 3 marks there. Now, for your example, you have to show what happens when income goes up and when income goes down, okay? So here is one example, yeah, okay? I just want you to see how it works. Okay, I'm going to paste it in the chat. Okay, my voice is going, which is really weird. Okay, now, class, what I want you to see here is that you have given me a story, okay? You cannot just tell me, okay? You can't just write car is normal good, bus is inferior good, okay? You cannot do that because what is normal and what is inferior depends on the consumer, okay? For you, Maggie is an inferior good, but for a very, very poor person, Maggie is a normal good, okay? So that's why you have to tell me a bit of a story, okay? When income is low, George rides the bus, but when income increases, he stops riding the bus and buys a car. Therefore, the car is a normal good and the bus is an inferior good, okay? That way you get 4 marks, okay? See, yeah, in your example, you cannot just give the example. You must also explain what happens when income goes up and when income goes down, okay? So that, and if you talk about the bus as well, okay, the bus as an inferior good, you get 4 marks, all right? Does that make sense? Okay, right, that's good. Okay. Now, 2B, explain any 3 factors that shift the demand curve rightward. Okay, class, here, notice that it says shift to the right. So is demand increasing or decreasing? Increasing. Okay, right. So class, if I were to say one factor that shifts the demand curve, okay, suppose I say one factor is a fall in income for a normal good. Okay, fall in income for a normal good. Is that correct? Okay, yeah, you cannot write that, yeah, because for that it would lead to your demand curve shifting to the left, not to the right. Here we are only asking about shifting the demand curve to the right. So basically forget about everything that would reduce demand. You can only talk about things that increase demand, okay? So let's go back to our lecture slides, okay? So it's a 6-mark question. Yeah, it's a 6-mark question. That means for each factor, 1 mark for saying what is the factor, 1 mark for explanation, okay? So for example, when you talk about income, okay, just by saying income, 1 mark, and then you say for a normal good, demand increases when income increases, and you stop there, you get 1 mark, okay? Or you can talk about an inferior good, demand increases when income falls, then you get 1 mark as well, okay? But of course, there's only maximum of 1 mark, you cannot get more than that, okay? And so, yeah, you should not talk about a neutral good, because a neutral good, demand does not change. So the demand curve cannot shift to the right, okay? For preferences, you can only talk about this, okay? You cannot talk about the next bullet point, okay? For price of related goods, okay, for substitutes, you can only talk about the price of the other good rising, okay? And for complements, you can only talk about the price of the other good falling, all right? For number of buyers, you can only talk about more buyers, okay? That makes sense. Expectations of future price, you can only talk about expecting the price to go up now, to go up in the future, okay? So yeah, just be careful there. I think you guys will know how to answer this question. It's just that pay attention to not give anything that talks about the price decreasing or not changing, okay? So just be careful there. Okay, right. Okay, question 3, as I said just now, it's just the same as question 1A, just that you need diagrams, okay? And what diagrams do you need? Let's see. Okay, you just need these two diagrams, yeah? Okay, you need these two diagrams. Now, just a few points, okay? Just a reminder that you must label 2 points on your demand curve, and you must draw an arrow showing the movement, okay? And for a shift, you must label them differently, okay, D1, D2, and you must draw arrows showing which way it has shifted, okay? But apart from that, I think you should be fine, okay? Let's see how many marks. Yeah, 2 marks for the diagram, okay, 2 marks for the explanations, okay? Now, any questions before I continue? Okay, now, I want to check with you guys, your class. Question 4 is missing, right? Or at least like it's incomplete. Correct? Like, or is it just on my side? Sorry, Esther, just a minute. I just want to check. Do people have a question 4 on their tutorial sheet? Okay, right. Hey, Esther, you have question 4. Can I see what it is? Can you just copy and paste in the chat? Oh, okay, right. Okay, class, let's use that then. Okay, let's use Esther's question. All right, okay, right. Esther, you were asking about 2A, right? Okay, 2A, you basically just have to give me, what is it? What is 2A again? Define the law of demand. Okay. Law of demand. Law of demand. Okay, Esther, you just need to copy this part. That will give you all the marks. Okay? Okay, you're welcome. Okay, class, I think because most of you don't have question 4, okay, take a look, okay? Okay, I don't know if you have tried it, okay, but take a look at the lecture slides, all right, and think about which slides you can get the answers from. Okay, I'll give you something like 3 or 4 minutes to do it. Okay, you don't have to write down your answer, you just have to look at your slides and ask yourself, are the answers here? Okay, and then tell me which slides they are. Yes, Kachin, that's correct. Okay, sorry, I just need to look at an email. Okay, now class. Okay, let's come back. Okay, let's think about this. Which slide do you think will have the answer to question 4? I think you would need 2 slides. Okay, class, remember, yeah? Okay. When the question says demand curve is downward sloping, it's the same as saying quantity demanded decreases as price increases, which is the same as saying there's an inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. Okay, in other words, it is asking you to explain the law of demand. Okay, where can we find this explanation or explanations on the lecture slides? Yeah, okay, you can see it on lectures slides 11 and 12. Thanks, Wan Chi. Okay, so class, where is it? Yeah. 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so you just have to write down these 2 effects, okay? And then you get 4 marks if I recall correctly. And the diagram, okay, you just have to show this diagram. Okay, you just have to show this diagram plus the writing down the 2 slides, okay? Then you will get 5 marks. Okay, sorry, just a minute. Okay, is that clear? You just have to write down the 2 reasons, okay? Plus draw a demand diagram, okay, demand curve, plot some points on it, and that's it. Then you will get the full marks. Okay, is that clear? It's not too hard, yeah, you just have to know where to get your answer from. All right? Okay, now I don't want to drag it out any longer. So that was question 4, which is missing on some of the tutorial sheets. I'm not sure why. Okay, now for question 5, let's talk through it together. Okay, don't worry about diagrams first. Okay, don't worry about diagrams first. Let's make sure we have the correct idea before we put it down in words. Okay, tomato sauce is a complement for hot dogs. All right. So using the relevant diagrams, explain what happens to the market for tomato sauce and hot dogs if the price of tomato sauce rises. Okay, now class, if the price of tomato sauce rises, does that affect quantity demanded or demand? The price of... Okay, Wan Chi, is it price that is changing here or something else? For tomato sauce, yeah? Okay, for tomato sauce, is it price or something else? Oh, okay. Got it, thanks. I was asking about tomato sauce. Let's talk about tomato sauce first. Okay, thanks, Wan Chi, you're actually correct. But yeah, so when the price of tomato sauce rises, quantity of... we will first affect the quantity demanded of tomato sauce. Okay, now is that going to go up or down? Down, okay? So this is just the law of demand, all right? So price of tomato sauce goes up, quantity demanded of tomato sauce goes down, all right? Now, let's move on to hot dogs, okay? So hot dogs and tomato sauce are consumed together, okay? So are we affecting the demand of hot dogs or the quantity demanded of hot dogs? demand, okay? Because in this case, the price of hot dogs are not changing. It is something else that is affecting the market for hot dogs, and therefore you will affect demand, okay? So in this case, does the demand for hot dogs go up or down? Down, okay, very good. Okay, so by answering all these questions, you have gotten yourself at least, let me see, yeah. By doing this, you have gotten yourself 4 marks, okay, 4 marks. You literally, okay, now, let me give you something like a guideline to answering this question. Okay, so for the explanation part, the first question that you ask yourself is, are hot dogs and tomato sauce okay? Ask yourself that question first, okay? So the first thing you have to tell me is hot dogs and tomato sauce are complements. 1 mark, okay? What does that mean? Okay, what does that mean? Look at the lecture slides here. Okay, what does that mean? That means they are used jointly in consumption. Okay, you write that, you get the 2nd mark. All right? So then you continue on to explain the effect of the increase in price on quantity demanded of tomato sauce. All right, so you just tell me the price goes up, therefore quantity demanded for tomato sauce goes down. All right, so that gives you 1 mark. And the last mark is therefore what effect on demand for hot dogs. Okay, so you tell me therefore demand for hot dogs goes down. Last mark. Okay, so 4 marks there. Now, okay, so what do you need to draw in this case? You need 2 diagrams because you have 2 goods. Okay, so the first diagram is for tomato sauce. The second diagram is for hot dogs. All right, so just let me share my other screen. Okay. Okay, so you can see the diagram, yeah? Okay, so for the market for tomato sauce, okay, so you see there's only 1 demand curve because demand is not shifting. So what you need to draw is label 2 points, A and B. One for, B, one of them has to be higher, yeah? Okay, so what you see here is that the price has gone up, okay? See the arrow, okay? The price has gone up, therefore quantity demanded has gone down, okay? So you need this diagram for tomato sauce. For hot dogs, it's very simple. You just need 2 demand curves, D1 and D2. You need to show a shift to the left, and that's it. Okay, and that's it. All right. So any questions for this? Is it clear what you need to do? Yeah, apparently. Yeah. But if it doesn't tell you that, you still need to write, yeah, okay? If it doesn't tell you anything, it just says, hot dog, something like, burgers and McDonald's burgers and like Coca-Cola. You still need to tell me it's a complement, all right? Okay, any questions? Okay, all right, so I think that's all for this tutorial, okay? So, yeah, let me think what else we have to do. Okay, just to briefly recap, yeah, okay? I think some people are still slightly unsure about the difference between quantity demanded and demand, okay? So revise on that, okay? Revise on that. And one thing you definitely have to revise for today, okay, is, shifting of the demand and supply curves and how you find the market equilibrium and market price, okay? But otherwise, I think you guys are doing fine. All right. So again, if anything, just send me a message, okay? If you have a question, all right? Even though I'm on leave, sometimes I still reply to emails, okay? But of course, it won't be as fast as when I'm, working, all right? But feel free to send me an email. I will definitely get back to you if you have any questions, okay? So if that's all, I think I will end the recording here. Okay, stop the recording. All right, so yeah, that's all for today. Thanks for tuning up to this tutorial, okay? Yeah, that's all, okay? So I will see you after Chinese New Year. So do have a good time, take care, and stay safe. Okay, you're welcome. Happy New Year. Okay, you're welcome. See you. Okay, see you. Bye. Happy New Year. See you. Welcome. See you.